folks. Good evening to you. Welcome, one and all, to another edition. It's a midweek edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Citizen Jones Hussein. Today on the program, Hoodlums invade Nigerian Senate, steal Mace, and later on, Senate wants service chiefs and other heads of security agencies sacked as headsmen kill 78. I'm hanging out with Babajide Kolade-Otitoju. I greet you.
Good afternoon, Citizen Jones.
Yeah, welcome. Tunde Abaton has joined us. Tunde, I greet you.
It's a pleasure, sir.
And of course, my good friend Adekunle Yusuf. Welcome back.
I'm glad to be here.
Okay then, we are ready for the trip. I hope you are. Okay then, students of history would recall with dread or anxiety, if you like, that the infighting in the old action group between Chief Obafemi Awolowo, leader of the party then, and Chief Samuel Akintola, his deputy and governor, came to a head on May 25, 1962. Two factions of the party in a rowdy session had the mace, the symbol of authority, seized by Honorable Ezekiel Ebubedike, a member, smashed against the table. The rest is now history. Our checkered Fourth Republic is replete with cases of the mace being debased. The Senate had its mace stolen this afternoon by suspected hoodlums. Somebody would say, students of history would say, we've seen it before, so it's playing out again.
Yes, we've seen it before. But should it be playing out? That is a question that we should ask ourselves. When are we going to be mature enough to behave responsibly in the conduct of our affairs? Because I keep hearing Nigerians say our nascent democracy. Nascent democracy is like we have condemned ourselves to
the classroom.
Yes, we don't want to grow. We simply want to remain where we are. Everyone appears to have left us behind. It's a fact. When you travel outside Nigeria, you go even to some African countries. From the airport, you see clearly that your country has been left behind.
You're playing catch-up.
Yes, and it's such a massive shame. If you see the kind of statistics coming out of a country like Rwanda, for example, that the whole world looked at with scorn some years back.
Not to talk of Botswana.
Not to talk of Botswana before them. Rwanda is actually even overtaking Botswana now.
Yeah.
You know, as the African country that the world...
With a vision.
Yes, the world is looking at. Even in terms of technology now, they are already looking ahead. For them, for Botswana, for Rwanda, the future has come. But here we are in Nigeria, we are beating up ourselves in the hollow chambers. Remember what happened during Amechi's time as governor, when someone actually used the mace to break the head of another lawmaker. Since that guy's head was broken, he has not materialized on the national scene. But the person who broke his head, recently, he's been granting interviews here and there. So I think that beyond, we are going to talk about how we got to what happened today, but I think that the shame that we are bringing upon our country, I think it has to stop.
Avoidable shame.
Because it's avoidable.
Yeah. Tunde, security was compromised, or so it would appear to us. You are not shocked?
Well, when you look at the scenario, I think it's a question of some people are playing games. This time around today, I think the other people who wanted to outsmart the National Assembly had the upper hand. And it has always been so with Nigerian policies. It is getting to this level because we are near the next election. And like he said, we have not grown beyond what happened.
So 2019 to you is booting.
2019, the thing is part of this build-up to 2019. It's unfortunate that we use the hallowed chamber. If the place is still hallowed, Because when you look at the characters there, yes, you can still believe that they should be decent. But I think, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not surprised because it is a reflection of the kind of political, it's not even a political class we have in Nigeria. They are just political merchants that we have. Because if it is a class, they will strive to protect the interests of that particular class, whatever party or group you belong to. But these people are just buccaneers. They are just there to struggle for person, not for any idea. Because what happened today is not an evidence of struggling for any particular idea, but it's a reflection of the deep-seated schisms within the ruling party that happens to dominate the National Assembly. So that is why I say that it is, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not surprised that they have not grown beyond 1962.
Well, I'm not suggesting that he evaded my question. There's security compromise, but they went in, did whatever they had to do, and went out unchallenged. Unchallenged. The way out, unchallenged.
They went out of the chambers on
Yeah.
China. No, they fought them. They overpowered the guys.
You
From
see,
the visuals.
we weren't there, but from the visuals that we got, there is no question about that. Security was compromised. Because for anyone to even access the National Assembly, the three-armed zone, is not easy. But how the whole thing was clinically done, a lot of investigations will expose a lot of things. But beyond that, this is bad. This is a sad day for this country, for this democracy. As far as I know, how do you explain
that's
that
demarketing
a
us.
Senate is demarketing everything about our country? We have too numerous crises we are yet to even start solving. Now, the political class is trying to further diminish the humanity of Nigerians. Because how do I go abroad to say, oh, you're people that are, I'm ashamed by what happened.
But that's not you. That's what you saw was not.
It's about
reflected.
Nigeria. I'm a Nigerian.
Okay.
So it's not, there's nothing personal about it. But there are personal things you can take from it. Because this is your country. If you look at the National Assembly under this Saraki, you'll be ashamed.
Under Senate President Olushola Saraki,
Okay,
not
under,
this Saraki, please.
Okay. Under Senate President Abubakar Bukola Saraki. Are you satisfied with that?
We'll go on,
Okay.
yeah.
You will see dictatorship, the type you have never seen in the history of parliamentary politics, anywhere in the world.
Of the crudest form.
So petty, so pedestrian, the one that you will wonder. So I've
Jide
always,
is trying to tell you
I've always,
it can be nice.
no,
I'm trying to help him with what?
I've always expected that one day this Senate will get its own comeuppance, because the way they are going, how do you explain it? That 10 people, 10 senators criticized the collective decisions of the Senate. Even if they are not senators, they are Nigerians. They have right to speak their mind. Yes. You may not agree with them.
Yeah.
If you are not sure that they carry the majority opinion, put it to vote. And you know how you can always walk around that. We have seen it several times. You don't need to go and now cut their head because they refuse to agree with your point of view. They've been doing so consistently. Don't forget this man from Borno, Ali Ndume.
Their pronouncements against the
So
actions.
now I'm not trying to say, out of 10 people, you singled out only one person. You asked the person to apologize, which he did. After that, you now said you suspend him for 90 legislative days. Believe me, these senators that you see, they don't put in 90 legislative days in 3 years. We are not saying 90 days. They meet two or three times, and they go on recess, and they come back.
Tuesday to Thursday.
So what they call
They sit 3 days in the week.
Tuesdays to Thursdays.
Sometimes they go on recess, numerous recess. They do this all the time. So what you have told Omar Agigi is that for this administration is not expected to be at the Senate, and its people in Delta State don't have a representative at the National Assembly.
Jide, again, the youth we talked about the not too young to rule bill the other day. The youth is watching.
Yes. Yes.
And we are still in the classroom. We are a nascent democracy.
I wish we were actually in the classroom.
Okay.
Because in my view, we are in the motor parks. Because in the motor parks, that's where you get taught
Throw caution to the wind.
all facets of violence. In the classrooms, they try to mold your character, make you a better person.
Get better.
You know, so when you are saying we are still in the classroom, and we are talking about democracy, practice in the manner in which these people are practicing it, I don't think it's. I don't think we should be talking. If we
makes
are
you
looking
wonder
for
if there's a Nigerian type democracy.
If we are looking for the appropriate imagery,
yeah,
then it has to be in those motor parks, Lagos style motor parks.
Mushin Motor Park.
Lagos style. Oshodi, Agege, Agbotikuyo, all those funny places.
About what?
Agbotikuyo.
Mushin.
You know, all those
That's
places.
not in the map.
You know, when you hear even Ojuno, when you hear even the names of those motor parks,
Then you know that.
Cassette.
you can even wet your pants when you hear the names. You know, so that is where we are. I think that on all sides, you can apportion blames, because I don't think what happened today could have happened without official complicity. Yeah. I've been to the National Assembly, and I was subjected to checks.
Rigorous
checks. I came with 2 non-Nigerians. They checked them separately. In fact, after we stepped down, one of them wanted to smoke. He wanted to smoke right in front. They said, no, you can't smoke here. He had to move a bit far away. So I know the kind of security in that place. So how did about 10 persons get into that the chambers and then executed the coup of taking away the mace? Yes, some of the guys there tried to resist them, but you can see the fighting going on. They tried to resist them, but they were clearly overpowered, and the person who took the mace walked away. But those who are playing these games and playing on our intelligence, what they need to know is that what happened today is just emblematic of the serious security problems that we face in our land. Anyone who finds it difficult to even believe that security is such a big issue in Nigeria, that in 2019 security could be an electoral issue during the campaigns. Once he's not based in Nigeria and he sees what happened, he sees the video of what happened, he will tell himself that, oh, so it has indeed degenerated so much to this level that people can walk in, take the mace. Of course, any of these people are old, they are in their 60s, they can barely throw a punch.
I didn't they had gone, they could have shot everybody.
If they want, if it was part of the plan.
They had all.
No, I'm sure they will have weapons in their bodies. I'm sure they will have weapons in their bodies. These kind of talks don't just operate like that. I'm sure they will have some weapons stocked in their bodies.
He's playing with the
yes, and eventually went away.
They escaped with it.
Now, the thing, after that, Omar Agege sat there in the plenary, and it was 1:54 that the police eventually came
for him.
So that should also be a talking point.
It's a sad.
How can Omar Agege came in with these people, executed this coup, and stayed for that long before the police arrested him? So what really is wrong?
I hope it's not too early to jump to conclusions.
Which conclusions?
It was executed well. It's part of the plan.
The point is, when did they come in? These guys came in basically the same time with the senator. And the truth is, it was to register their own anger about his suspension. Yeah. That's why the Senate said this is a treason. So there's no way you can divorce what happened
from
the invasion, from the suspension of Omar Agege.
Tunde, we always talk about impunity, and it's been going on unchallenged. You see this going underground?
Well, I think, well, it is important. Like I said the other time, I think until we accept the fact that we're in a serious problem, then we won't be able to, because if the National Assembly is accusing the federal government of not obeying the rule of law, the National Assembly itself should obey itself and listen to its own rule by itself. I think what happened today is just a dress rehearsal to many other things that are about to happen. Perhaps something went wrong midway. The target of the stealing of the maize is not actually the maize, but it's to do some other things that we are yet to know. But I think in the next couple of days, things will begin to fall into place. But like he said, I think we have to sit down and re-examine the attitude and the modus operandi of this present leadership of the National Assembly. If you are always in conflict with the people that you are leading, then it means that something is seriously wrong with the management system of the leadership of the National Assembly. And that is why at every point in time, when there's disagreement, people go to the extreme to find their anger. And I think the Omo Agege and every other senator that are aggrieved actually try to execute a larger plan today, but they were stopped in their track.
Omo Agege.
Omo Agege.
Don't give him
not,
to Agege.
Not in Lagos State.
Yeah.
Don't
Don't give him to Agege. Coolly, but in all of this, there must be potential investors waiting in the wings to come in. We talked about demarketing. This is not one way of wooing them.
Certainly. Certainly, there is no one who wants to come to Nigeria to do profitable things, and such a person will witness this. You have to do a rethink, because what Omo Agege did today is just the equivalent of taking the law into your hands. Self-help. You have been pushed to the wall. Now, let's do self-help.
Fight back.
That is the equivalent of what General T.Y. Danjuma was, advising his people in Taraba State.
Did you see the Red Chamber on the path to redressing the...
No, they won't. No, it will degenerate. Okay. Because the issues are embedded and complex. Okay. It's all about 2019. I don't know why the presidency and the Senate, the National Assembly in particular, I don't know why,
on the same page.
Why they want to crumble Nigeria because of reordering of elections. If you go by our history, there has never been a stable pattern. But because it emanated from the National Assembly, I don't know why the other people are.
So we talk about entrenched interests. So
but anyone who is behind what happened today certainly is not a lover of Nigeria. I don't believe they are patriotic.
And can't take any credit.
No. What happened today is not good for any country. Because when you set a president, a dangerous one, you don't know what happens next. That's just the fear and nothing.
All right, then. The debate will continue, as we always say. Our business here is to lay the facts on you and allow you to make up your minds. Now, when we return from this break, Senate wants service chiefs, other heads of security agencies sacked over incessant headsmen killings. I'll be back shortly. All right, then, let's take the matter home.
Yeah.
Let's bury it, Jide, before we cross over.
You see, the Senate under Bukola Saraki's leadership does not brook opposition from within. And it continues to suspend anyone who opposes the overriding view of the Senate. But judicial pronouncements have come in the past to the affirming that you cannot suspend these people, that it is illegal. Go and look at the judgment that was handed down in favor of Aliun Dume. And you still, in spite of that, after Omar Gege apologized, you still suspended it. You said before he went to court. He went to court because he was not sure of what fate would befall him. Now, look at this. The tenure of a senator cannot be abridged, diminuted, suspended, abrogated, or vitiated, except as stipulated by the 1999 Constitution as amended. I mean, if people willfully disobey court orders or go against what the law says, they are inviting anarchy, because those cheated by their own actions will take the law into their hands.
Tunde, how do you bury this?
Well, I think you cannot achieve legality by illegality. The actions of the attitude of the Senate leadership since 2015 has shown that it does not brook any form of opposition. And you cannot treat senators like secondary school boys, like as if you are running a glorified nursery and primary school where you oppose the Senate president. Some people will gang up and put you into detention. I think there is no enough maturity on the part of the leadership of the Senate to manage its own people, more so when they belong to the same political party. And knowing fully well that your action today or the way you manage that National Assembly will go a long way, even affecting how the executive is going to execute the programs for which you are part of, you are voted into power.
More so as you are the major institution that makes the laws.
No, laws. You are voted into power to do that. So it's unfortunate.
I plead with Bukola Saraki led the Senate to please know that Nigeria is a multi-ethnic, society. This action they try to do now is further dividing this country. If 10 people rose against the collective decision of the Senate and you single the only Southerner out for demolition, this is not fair for anyone.
Again, the debate is yours. We'll be back on that. Okay then, a very famous maxim says, the only way to overcome insecurity is to take risks. After all, only the insecure strives for security. Enraged by the seeming intractable killings across the country, the same Senate, has charged President Muhammadu Buhari to immediately dismiss service chiefs and heads of security agencies. The #1 citizen is also advised to seek international help. The president is asked to use his heart, not his head. This is the time. But let's share this footage with you before we go discussing it.
The killing of 32 persons in Awe, Kiana, and Obi local government areas of Nasarawa State has got Senator Suleiman Adokwe seeking the Senate's intervention by asking the military to halt the killings. Other senators took turns to condemn the killing of Nigerians across the country with little or no intervention by the police or military.
Herdsmen have unleashed terrorist mayhem across the southern senatorial district of Nasarawa State, leaving in their wake several dead bodies, numerous wounded persons. There is even an army base close to where this carnage is taking place, with no one single shot being fired by the army. It baffles me, it beats my imagination.
This country is becoming a state without control. And it's a big shame that a sitting government would watch criminality go to the level that we have seen it today.
For me, this government has tried a lot where the previous government failed. So they've done their best, and we can only help our people if we begin to look for ways of promoting peaceful coexistence.
But some senators want President Muhammadu Buhari to bring in fresh ideas by immediately sacking his military service chiefs and overhauling the entire security architecture of Nigeria through new appointees and provision of weapons to tackle herdsmen militia.
I think the president needs fresh ideas. Fresh ideas, fresh men in the helm of affairs of the security apparatus of this country. And I'm saying this, wholeheartedly that all the service chiefs and head of security agency should immediately be sacked. This current leadership of security heads cannot give him that fresh ideas. They have to go. As we are speaking, killing is going on.
Let it be on record that the way we've conducted ourselves is guaranteed that democracy will not survive. People are dying. People are losing their jobs. Democracy is being destroyed, and we are all watching.
Assuming that this is happening in America, in the UK, or in France, would it take all this time to resolve? And the answer is simply no. Not even in South Africa here. So if citizens are being killed, we owe it a responsibility as a parliament to give it the desired attention. I will never stop talking about these killings unless it stops.
The Senate later held a 1-minute silence in honor of those killed. It also mandated its ad hoc committee on security infrastructure to investigate the Nasarawa state killings.
Let's keep it going. Now, this same gentleman, this same Nigerian Senate, the Red Chamber, is asking for Mr. President to kick service chiefs and heads of security outfits. It's like climbing a tall mountain here.
Well, there's no big deal about it. On this program yesterday, I made the same suggestion. If people go back to watch it, I made that suggestion. And in the night, I saw that, the lawmakers too had asked for that. I'm totally in agreement. Where you can see clearly that the head of a security agency is not achieving results, you change him. Even Jonathan, that we used to, or we accuse him of being clueless, at a point when he felt that Boko Haram attacks had escalated, he replaced Azazi with Dasuki. And he made other changes.
He replaced the army chief.
He replaced army chiefs. So if now, as we are seeing, because this is not the first, these are not the first people to even talk about it. We've seen even retired army officers demand for this change. But what did we see? Our president, who finds it extremely difficult to make appointments, I knew it would be difficult for him to make sack service chiefs. So what he did was he extended their tenure. And clearly those guys, diminishing return are certain. It is a fact. The rate at which Nigerians are being killed, no sensible person will feel comfortable about it. And that's why it bothers me so much. Look, it is only the living who talk about the economy.
Yeah.
People don't get it. Oh, the president is doing so much on end power, doing this. Oh, we are growing rice. It is the living who will be in position to eat rice that they are growing in Kebbi. So we can't watch people being killed like this, like fowls in our country, because it diminishes us as a people. So if the security agencies, the IG, the Chief of Army Staff and the rest of them, if they cannot do something to stop these killings, then the president has to look for fresh blood, people with fresh ideas. And hopefully, people with fresh ideas, they will come with a new broom, and the officers and men in the armed forces will see that change has come, and they too will adjust.
They'll make a statement.
Yes, yes, that's what we want.
Today, well, the naive would ask ordinarily at the bus stop, at the marketplace, would you say the security outfits are bereft of ideas, as he is suggesting, or they are being plain ambivalent or waiting for orders and so on?
Well, I think the leadership determines a lot of things. If the security outfits know what they are doing, and they suggested to the commander-in-chief, and the commander-in-chief failed to issue appropriate orders or definite orders. Mind you, in 1983, I repeated it here 2 weeks ago, General Buhari was the general officer commanding, I think, 82 Mechanized Division Nigerian Army. He was ordered to quash the Masasini sect. Yeah. And within 3 weeks, he achieved that thing. Now, as the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, when he was sworn in May 29,
he didn't crush Masasini.
No, he stopped it. He stopped the advance of Masasini from Kano. at least he was able to nibble in the bud, unlike what we did with Boko Haram.
Because that happened in 1980. Let's not, it's a story
yeah,
for
what we're not saying that as the commander-in-chief,
then.
and he has all the resources at his disposal, why will it be difficult for him to give proper instruction to effect a change? Look, Churchill lost in the First World War. He came back 28 years later to the Prime Minister, and he made a better Prime Minister of Britain. What would have expected President Buhari hindsight to make a better Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? And the whole, when you look at the whole security architecture, not only the military, look at the police. The other time, the president said that he asked the IG to do something, he could not do it, and he was telling Nigerians, why, as a President-in-Chief, Commander-in-Chief that is in control, you didn't do anything only for you to report to Nigerians. I think he needed, as if he needed the instruction or the mandate of Nigerians to run, as to what to do to run Nigeria. Then if he was elected to effect a change, and he could not effect that change, he has no reason to complain. And I think it is unfortunate that without declaring a full-scale war, Nigeria has lost many people proportionally to what we lost between 1967 to 1970. Proportionally, we have lost many people.
Peacetime, Kule. This is peacetime.
This is not peacetime.
Nigeria is not
in peace. The country is not at war.
No, we are not at war.
But there's no place. We are living danger.
But what is happening in Nigeria is equivalent of a country that is at war.
With itself.
A country where people are no longer safe. Look at the horrendous killings all over Nigeria. It's everywhere. Look, how many
multiplying by the day.
From Adamawa to Kogi to Borno to Danzua to Benue to how many states do you want to mention? I saw on daily basis. Believe many of the things you see in the headlines, there are many ones that are not reported.
They are not reported. It's a
so
fact.
when you now say we are in peacetime, I disagree with you. We are in peacetime, but we are fighting,
a domestic war.
Yes, we are fighting an undeclared war
within our country,
within ourselves,
man-made.
Believe me, the presidency needs to just do a rethink. What is difficult in relieving people of their posts when they are not doing well?
Okay.
This is something this president needs to do something about, because we've been talking about insecurity. You will want to believe that maybe the president doesn't need re-election. Now he has declared that he wants re-election, then he should act.
Mark, if you are a good football lover, whenever the first time is played,
yes,
and the coach has studied a lot of things, anyway, those outside have a way. By the second half, he will bring in some people, either to energize the front line, or to change the people at the back, or to change the midfield, then to re-energize some people. When some fresh blood comes in, the pattern of football will change, either in terms of attack or defense or the midfield. In most cases, when the midfield has collapsed, the defense will collapse.
And when you make the right changes, you win the game.
It will win the election. But as it is now, both our midfield and our front one has collapsed. Our wings are opened.
Jide will agree that some coaches are reticent. You've seen it. Some coaches will stick to their guns.
And coaches who sit down, refuse to change tactics, they always lose heavily.
They are poor coaches.
Coaches who believe, coaches like one who just won the English Premier League now, who stick to one pattern of play, who are not pragmatic, who only believe that the best way to overwhelm the enemy is to keep passing the ball around.
Tossing the ball around.
When that passing game,
tiki-taka.
when that tiki-taka doesn't work, and then you find a coach who has decoded the way to play your game, you have no plan B. You get beaten silly, the way Liverpool beat Manchester City silly on 2 occasions out of 3. Liverpool beat them 3 straight games. So that is the point. You must be able, you must be flexible, you must be able to alter your plans when you can see clearly that your current strategy is not working. The strategy to protect our people currently is not working. Everybody credits the president with the job that he has done with Boko Haram, because he built on the earlier successes that Goodluck Jonathan made, especially before the election. Significant progress made before the election, documented, that many Nigerians don't even know about, or they assume that it was this government that did. Now, this government built upon that, brought in a chief of army staff that instilled discipline. Soldiers who used to stay in urban centers, he forced them to go and stay with their troops. That's what Burate did, and energized the troops. The troops became stronger. They fire in their eyes. They were ready to fight, and we made gains. We are saying now that currently we can no longer tolerate the massive killing of our people. There is nowhere in the world where it's been done. And we refuse to take the excuse that it is Libyans that are killing Nigerians. We refuse to take that excuse because we do not have direct border with Libya. And the countries that have direct border with Libya, they are not going through what we are going through. These killings has to stop. Something must give. If these people cannot defend our people, they deserve to go.
Let me take Olawale. He's here in Lagos. He has joined us. Welcome, Olawale.
Yeah, good evening, Citizen John.
I greet you, sir.
I greet you, sir. Yes, Otitoju, my encyclopedia.
I greet you, my brother.
Yeah. It's a long time. I've not been able to get you.
Thank you.
Save time. Let's go. Save time.
I have two brief comments. One, in respect of what happened in the Senate today, I am one of the happiest in Nigeria. And let me tell you sincerely, that is one of it's just the beginning of what is to happen. Until we get to the stage where we don't want the Senate again. They cannot be collecting such a amount of money and be disrupting Nigeria. Senate, the Federal Republic of Nigeria does not belong to Bukola Saraki. Okay, that is number one. They must do the right thing. The president sent a bill for special tribunal to try for us people. They start on him. That's for another day. Secondly, in respect of the killing, the Yoruba say, oh, Buhari must change all the service chiefs so that we can have sanity in the country. This killing is too much.
Thank you. A cynic, Kunle said, and it must have come from a little silly corner of the brain. He said, I hope this affects their salary. But it's, by the way, that's talking about the Senate. Let's fast forward now. How much of, without begging the question, how much of changing the service chiefs would change, how much would it change the situation?
Okay, let me give you, how the regimented organization, how they work. If you are the boss and you lay ideas on the table, the moment they perceive loopholes in those ideas, many of them who are the lower rung will keep quiet, they will be watching. They are mostly afraid to confront their bosses. Of course, there may be ways they draw ideas here and there, but at a point like what we have now, they've done their best. From the Inspector General of Police to the Chief of Army Staff, Chief of Naval Staff, all of them. We need to tell them, thank you, you've done enough. Go. Let others take it up from where.
Bring new ideas.
You need also of the DSS.
You see, do you know the biggest? Do you know the biggest problem? Interagency rivalries. If the DSS is doing a human job, many of these problems will be resolved because they are in the business of intelligence, gathering. There is no agency that does it better than the DSS.
Sorry. The back room wants us to go to Nasarawa State. Yeah. We have something to show us.
Life has not been easy for residents of the southern zone of Nasarawa State, as majority of them have been displaced.
We are having crisis in Nasarawa State because of the anti-grazing law passed by the Benue State government. It is not the fault of Nasarawa State government.
He was sleeping outside and the kind of heat was disturbing people. So as they were sleeping outside, we just see they just come attack at around 8 o'clock like this and begin to shoot everybody. We didn't even know whether something is coming like that. And from now, nobody is from the village. Nothing we have packed for the village.
For months, residents in Nasarawa South have continued to flee their homes due to incessant attacks by marauding herdsmen. But the Nasarawa state government have assured of an end to the carnage. The governor has introduced air surveillance to restore normalcy to the affected areas.
With the surveillance we are going to have this afternoon, air surveillance, we'll be able to see the movement and directions of movement of people in all these areas with a view to pinpointing the flash points where such bases will be located. The security operatives now would have to create security bases in each of the areas that have become center of migration, so that all the people that have run to such centers should be given total and complete protection against any encroachment.
With the introduction of air surveillance by the Nasarawa state government, it is believed that normalcy will return to the affected areas.
Okay, then, you've seen the footage. Let's look at the ramifications now. We are all in agreement the killings must stop here and now.
No.
How do we, what the next first step to take?
We've already outlined the thing to do. There's a need for a fresh strategy. There's a need for fresh ideas about how to contain these killers of our people. At the rate things are going, the catastrophe that we have on our hands, we will not be able to handle it. Because, look, the IDPs, you have IDPs in Nasarawa State, because 2 local governments where you have thieves. And the local government like Obi, that is close to Guma, because it's Guma.
Like thieves,
and
you are talking about TIVS.
Yes,
TIV.
People know it's you.
No, go on.
Okay.
Sorry.
Now, the Guma local government and Logo local government. Now, the Guma local government and Logo local government are the 2 local governments that these herdsmen are constantly attacking. Almost every day they are killing people. Now, they've also moved to Obi local government because it's close to Guma. And that Obi local government has significant thief population, the same culture, good arable land, farming, and all that. So the bulk of the people who are IDPs in Nasarawa are from those 2 local governments along the border with Benue. Now, in the areas, in the local governments that they are constantly attacking, 300,000 children are out of school. They can't go to school. And what is actually shocking to most people is that the pattern of the attack is similar to Boko Haram in the sense that they not only, if we are saying this is purely farmers, herdsmen attack, why are they burning schools?
Yeah.
Schools are being destroyed in all those communities. Children, they've been rendered homeless. There are more than 290,000, as at last month, more than 290,000 IDPs in Benue State alone. And the number is expanding. The more they attack a town, once they attack a town, adjoining communities, they will take flight. Everybody will leave. Nobody wants to be killed. So they've already rendered so many people, so many farming communities
immobilized many
homeless.
Units.
I mean, it has to stop.
Kunle, let's look, there must be a middle ground somewhere. So we are looking at bipolar extremes. On the one hand, change security chiefs. On the other hand, herdsmen have to graze, since we have not really had established a foolproof answer to this grazing wahala. There must be a middle ground somewhere, don't you think?
Some of these killings are not even related to grazing. They just go into communities and start killing people.
See, I think if you call it herdsmen, you are trying to indulge the ineptitude of this administration in the area of security. Believe me, when you see criminals invade a community over and over and over and over, and you attract attach that to herdsmen grazing. I don't believe that. You see people destroying schools, destroying homes. Believe me, we have a problem on our hands. The government must dig deeper into this. Maybe this is another Boko Haram in another way. We need to do something about it. I don't believe it's farmer, herdsmen, grazing, whatever.
No,
I don't think so.
That's how it started, but it's beginning to look like something bigger than that.
All right. Let me quickly take Ali in Abuja. Ali, welcome.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, please, I said it is quite unfortunate as in with what is happening in our country, Nigeria. I don't believe this is a country that each and every one of us wish to belong to. But the issue is that what is going on in this country, and one of the problems we have is that the leaders and people like you have refused to tell us the truth. The issue with Nigeria is not chief of the army staff, the chief of the security, and all the rest of them. The issue is that the people of Nigeria have not wished to live together. That is the problem we have. The foundation of Nigeria has been laid on killings right from 1945.
Ali, tell me that you yourself don't want to live with your neighbors.
What we are talking about is a propaganda. That is what we are embarking on. So with that, I think we are getting nowhere. Let us sit down and
All right. Ali, again,
for your opinion.
It's your right, so to.
Thank you for your opinion.
Today, I'm coming from. Come on, you are not quarreling with the name.
He knows what.
Let's go. Let's go. I want you to don't think aloud. Today, let's look at it this way. The other angle to this subject matter is invite international help, seek international help. Are you looking at that option?
Well, if you seek international help, you can only operate, even if you are trained in the moon, you can only operate freely in an environment in which you are used for. There's no way you can take Americans from New York and take them to Gulf area without necessarily backing them with air. You know, remember in 1991, U.S. defeated Saddam by using the air power, not the soldiers on the ground. So what we are saying now is that if there is no willingness on the part of the Nigerian leadership to fight this scourge, there is no way you can bring any soldier from anywhere. Without necessarily drawing unnecessary inference, I hope I will be pardoned. It will appear as if we are deliberately creating chaos in order to spend money.
But I'm sorry, I need to correct.
Creating chaos in order to spend money. Recently, the federal government said about $1 billion bill to the National Assembly. They wanted to buy ammunition. Is the ammunition for Boko Haram or for herdsmen?
No, they say for both.
For both. It means they are trying to justify what is happening, playing out now in all the four states. It's trying to justify the need. It's unfortunate.
No,
the need for that. It's bad.
It won't be fair to.
It won't be fair. It's unfortunate.
But he said
it's unfortunate. I hope it is not. I hope it is not so.
He will not be taken out of context.
We need to correct certain things. When you look at what the Senate said, that seek international aid does not mean you bring in Americans or you bring in Libyans or that you can do collaboration, you can do a lot
there must
of
be willingness.
That's what the Senate recommended, not bringing American soldiers to come and fight Boko Haram. No, that's not what they do. But you can always do international collaboration, sharing of intelligence and ammunition and all that.
I had a reason for asking before they came in Jonathan's time. You remember? But they hurriedly left. Did they?
No, they left because they didn't trust our troops.
That's what we are saying.
They didn't trust our troops. There's a level of corruption in the armed forces that naturally should worry anyone. And at that time, and we have received reports of even members of the armed forces collaborating with Boko Haram. They've actually put their own people on trial for sabotaging the efforts of other troops. So when you have that kind of situation, the foreigner will be worried that why am I, if I provide some intelligence, won't I endanger my own life in the process?
As they say, crime more than they breathe.
So the thing is, we still need help. We need help. There was a time that I think Obasanjo was talking about Sri Lanka, that how do we get Sri Lanka to assist us? Because Sri Lanka fought insurgency for 25 years and got victory in the end. So we need to seek help. Because right now, it's like we cannot find a solution to this problem. Okay. And the killings are getting worse and worse. So we have to do something.
I see the expression on your face.
I'm really worried. I'm worried.
I am equally as worried.
I'm worried.
Not forgetting Tunde Abaton, he is worried.
Me, I'm aggrieved. Me, I'm aggrieved.
The president should not just say it by his mouth.
I'm aggrieved.
He should show it by
bitter.
He should walk the talk.
We are aghast, all of us. Okay. All right, then. Well, let me thank you all for coming. Okay, please don't forget the way I started when we discussed this subject matter. The only way to overcome insecurity is to take risks. Let's take these risks now. That's all on the program for the evening. Join us tomorrow for another episode. But watch a repeat of this one at 11 tonight. And watch Journalist Hangout on other platforms showing on the screen and on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. The feedback channel remains the same. Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Bye-bye. Take care of yourself. I'm out of here.